With me today, Town Councilor Paula Schnepp, Marston's Mills District. I'm a millbilly. You're a millbilly.
I am. 22 years.
Millbillies, this particular little village of Barnstable is, I always think, is one of the only ones without any tourism, which is kind of funny to say. But there's a whole lot going on in Town Council. There's a whole lot going on in Marston's Mills. So we're going to take it from Town Council right down to Village Day today.
Excellent.
So let's talk about Town Council. What are some of the initiatives that you're working on, and what's happening in the meeting tonight?
Well, we have been, for several meetings, looking at various proposals on zoning for cannabis. And the state, has come out with very detailed regulations on what can be, zoned for and what can't. And so we're trying to find that sweet spot that the town of Barnstable is ready for. And in the town, we've had 6 precincts that voted for it and 7 that didn't. So we're very understanding that there's some resistance to going full force. And so the initial item that we proposed several months ago to allow retail establishments has sort of been withdrawn and taken off the table. And tonight we're considering 2 proposals, one to ban all uses and one that would allow for cultivation, lab testing, and I believe inspection services in a district. It's already the medical overlay. Okay. And I personally think that that's a great compromise, and I'm hoping that at the public hearing tonight we hear from all those who are most interested in this issue, and we come to a conclusion that while it might not be completely unified by the council, at least there'll be a strong sense that we're moving forward together.
Okay, let's just back up a little bit so people, residents understand. There already is an overlay district for medical marijuana, and that is included in the Hyannis district, the Cape Cod Hospital healthcare area.
Actually, it's the medical marijuana overlay district is over in it's in precinct 1 in the industrial park area.
In the industrial park, okay.
Right. And there hasn't been anyone who has taken advantage of that zoning.
Okay.
The new proposed ordinance would allow in the larger medical overlay district that encompasses Cape Cod Healthcare and other medical offices in Hyannis.
Okay, and then when you talk about the pieces of the industry that would be there, so cultivation, that would include grow labs, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then there would be the testing. Now the testing is something very interesting. That's high-paying jobs.
Absolutely. And it's required. Any product that that goes to retail has to pass through an inspection. Right. And in fact, it's I believe there has not been one entity that has been given that designation yet in the state.
Right.
And to me, that would be a really good marriage for being in the medical marijuana. In the medical overlay district, and as you said, bring in really good jobs and economic opportunities. So.
Right. So that's interesting. So that's this evening.
Right.
It's a joint session again with the planning board.
The planning board.
The 2 proposals, and the second proposal was a complete ban of everything?
Yes, and that actually was introduced, I believe, back in June, and it's been either continued or moved along. And so that basically didn't allow for any uses in the town of Barnstable. We've now had 4 proposals going forward, and we've got these 2 left. Okay. And again, if neither one of them passes, and they have to pass by a 2/3 majority, and that's 9 out of the 13 councilors have to vote affirmatively for one or the other. And if that doesn't happen, I guess probably something else will come up, because we need to have something in place before 12/31 of this year, because we currently are under a temporary moratorium, but that expires at the end of this calendar year.
Right, so the clock is ticking.
Absolutely. So we want to come up with a plan. And again, even passing this doesn't, there's still a lot of steps for any business to come in and set up a lab or even set up a cultivation facility. But I think we really have some opportunity economically. There are some provisions for increased taxes, and as you said, these are jobs that require some higher education and really great opportunities for all demographics, I think.
excellent. So, you know, we might have some new workers in the area.
Yeah.
Where are they going to live, Paula?
Oh, good question. We've been fortunate to have, you know, quite a lot of new housing development in the Hyannis area, mostly market rate, which has been something in our housing production plan that we have identified a great need for, and especially in the Hyannis area. Hyannis does have the water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure to support more dense housing. And our inclusionary zoning and our regulatory agreements provide for some of those units to be affordable, but as a percentage, it can be as little as 10%. So, you know, we're creating more housing, but are we creating the housing that our entire community needs? So I have some concerns, you know, with being able to promote some initiatives that really allow us to, you know, keep that balance in place.
And that is some of your background as well, is in shelter and housing.
Right.
And when we look at that as a whole of Barnstable, it's great that, you know, Hyannis has that sewering and has some of that infrastructure, but not everybody wants to live in the big city of Hyannis, right?
That's right. And we've had some really great examples of affordable housing projects in other villages in our town. I mean, I'm very excited about the 4 Habitat houses that are now under construction on River Road. It's just a wonderful development, and that was it's on land that the town helped pay for with CDBG funds, that's Community Development Block Grant funds, with federal money coming in, and then you have a nonprofit that's putting these houses up. But these houses are going to be on our tax roll, so that's a win-win for the town. And we've got 4 lovely families that are going to be, you know, able to live in our community. So now that doesn't create a lot of housing in one fell swoop, but it's those types of initiatives that we really have to be looking, you know, to be able to do. And we are now, the Asset Management Committee, which is a town council subcommittee, just recently had a disposition of town tax title property. Now, all of that went out into the private market. So the next round, I really am keen on making sure that we consider affordable housing options for some of the parcels. You know, making sure that we're not, you know, closing the door on opportunities that we might have right in our hands.
Right, exactly. There's the land, it's already there.
That's right.
You know, it's basically laying fallow. We're not making any money off of taxes on it.
Exactly.
Let's use it and put it back on the tax rolls and affordable housing at the same time.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Let's talk about our favorite village, Marston's Mills. What's going on in the Mills?
Well, I wish something more was happening this fall, but we're on schedule to have a major streetscape in the village, and we had a great meeting with town officials in April with the plans that were, you know, presented at the time, and there was a lot of input from the citizenry that showed up. And I think, in a sense, that input may have delayed the project a little bit. I think there's a lot of conscientiousness to make sure that this project, you know, really meets the needs of everybody, not only the folks in the village, but the folks that are coming through. And so, as of now, the project has not gone out to bid, so it will not be happening this fall. But I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I think if we can maybe get those bid packages out by the end of this year, we can start early spring. I mean, we don't want to inconvenience our business owners in the village any more than we have to. They're prepared for this, so we kind of want to keep this thing moving.
And it's something that's been in the work for over 10 years now, too, and it's in a dangerous area.
Absolutely.
You know, we're talking about 149 coming in from 28, Cash Market right there. That whole little piece is, you know, it's a free-for-all some days at those stop signs.
Absolutely.
So, and it's not very walkable.
Right. It's not very walkable. This is not to do with that road project, but I just wanted to mention that there was a parcel affectionately called the Sprinkle property that was recently purchased by the Barnstable Land Trust with CPC money, and I haven't driven by it, but have they taken down the houses yet? They're just on the... So that's the land that is right on the side of the mill pond.
Yeah.
And so that is going to be green space.
Those 2 abandoned houses there on the right on 28?
Yep.
Oh my goodness,
so
that's awesome.
Those are coming down, I would say, by the end of this month or, you know, early September at the latest.
And Barnstable Land Trust has conserved that as space?
Yes, so they own it, and then the town has a conservation restriction on it. So, so that's another win-win. And I was thinking in terms of the streetscape project, you know, is
Right.
also going to provide better access to Mill Pond. So I mean, there's a
Right.
lot of things that are working in concert and can be very exciting. So I'm hoping by the time we talk next year, a lot of this will be done.
Yeah,
So that
there's
that would
also
be-
dredging that might happen in Mill Pond too. So there's, you know, all sorts of things happening in the village of Marston's
Absolutely.
Mills. But the most important event in Marston's Mills is Village Day.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. I can't wait.
September 9th, that's a Sunday, 12 to 4 o'clock. And
When the hamburgers run out.
when the hamburgers run out, usually, and and the focus or theme this year is Marston's Mills supports public safety.
Okay.
So we're going to have folks from the police and fire, you know, that are going to be there helping flipping the burgers, and we're going to acknowledge or honor someone from the services there, and it all caps off with the Liberty Hall annual chicken barbecue. So get your orders in soon.
Right.
Right. So it's always a fun event.
It is, and it's fun. They close off from the 149 side up through the school,
Right.
up to Lovell's Lane.
Right.
It's completely walkable. There's little pony rides usually.
That's right.
There's the bars is usually there with their chowder as well.
Yes.
The area.
And there's going to be live music.
live music
So
this year as well.
bring your dancing shoes.
Excellent,
So,
and usually starts off with the raising of the flag with our COM fire truck and singing of the national anthem.
that's right.
Fantastic. I'll see you there.
Okay.
Thanks so much for coming
All right.
in today, Paula.
Thank you.